Hey viewers, Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to this YouTube channel Meet Academia, and this is Hamza Meet. Well viewers, my today's video is related with the Pakistan Studies History P1, and the unit that I'm going to continue with is the War of Independence. We've already done the two topics related with the War of Independence. One of them was events of war and the second one was the causes of war. If you haven't watched the video, please kindly go and watch the channel. And this video is mainly related with the last unit of this chapter of War of Independence. Before we start, let's see that what our today's topic is. Well viewers, here we have the very first reason of the failure of the war, and that is the war in confusion. So when we talk about this one, let's see that what content that we have related with it. The first one we have over here is that without preparation and planning. Well, the foremost cause was the sudden start of the war in confusion without any preparation or proper planning. Secondly, since there was an extreme lack of communication and coordination among various groups of freedom fighters who started their uprising according to their own wishes, it became very easy for the English troops to curb the revolt to different areas one by one instead of dealing with them all together. Well viewers, here we have our second reason right there on the screen, that is related with the leadership. As you could see that it has been written over here as no experienced leader. Now when we talk about the Indians, there was no experienced leadership among them to lead the Indian soldiers. They had declared Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar their leader. But instead of warfare, he was devoted to poetry, and on the other hand, he was too old and incompetent to lead the revolutionaries. The British troops, on the other hand, were endowed with extremely competent generals, and one of them was basically the Field Marshal Robert Napier, as you could see the picture right there on the screen. That was a big difference between the two, the Indians and the British, which mainly became the reason for the failure of the war for the Indians. Well, here we have the third point right there on the screen related with the warfare. In this one, we are going to discuss about the modernization of British and the orthodox ways of the Indians. Well, the English troops were modern and strikingly advanced, not only in the warfare, but also in new ways of swift and speedy communication. They did not have to cross long routes and grounds to deliver a message or order, but they could simply wire it with a few minutes. On the other hand, when we talk about the Indians, they were devoid of such means. That is why they utterly fell behind and got defeated. When we talk about the next content over here, which is English had advanced navy, the English mainly had the full command on waters. Due to their advanced navy, they got enforcement from the Crimean fronts to counter Indian aggression without any delay. The third and the last point over here is related with the modern and orthodox weaponry. Being equipped with modern weapons, especially the Enfield rifles, the British were the one who could hunt down the Indians even from the distance. And the Indians were the one who were still fighting with their sticks, swords and daggers to fight their highly powerful opponent, which was totally modernized. This is the reason that the Indians lost the war in 1857. Well viewers, here we have our next heading over here, which is the reason behind the failure of the war, that is economic condition. In this one, we are going to discuss about the economic condition of the emperors as well as the British. When we talk about the very first point over here, we could see that the economic condition of the Indian troops also entailed an obvious cause of their defeat. On one hand, the war mainly started out of awkwardness, mismanagement and lack of planning. And when we talk about the emperors, they were practically penniless and bankrupt. They were the one who were asking loans from the Delhi landlords. But when we talk about the Delhi landlords, they were more determined to save their money but not their freedom. On the other hand, when we talk about the British troops were the one who were basically more wealthy because they had the prosperous region of India under their control, just because of which they were economically more stronger than the Indians. So, the weak economy of the Indians mainly became the reason for the failure of the war. Well, viewers, here we have the very last paragraph of this topic of the failure of the War of Independence, that is the treasury of the different people because of which the War of Independence failed for Indians in 1857. Let's see that what points that we have over here. Number one we have is the treasury of six. Well, this was another major reason that the treasury of six, who had been grudgingly fighting against Muslims for a long time, the East India Company was the one who took advantage of this feeling of antipathy and aroused them towards their own countrymen. Six states like Patiala and Jind helped the English troops in crushing the native disturbance in Punjab. On the other hand, when we talk about the northwest frontier province, there were certain feudal lords like Wali of Sawat who displayed his alliance to the allied ruler. And when we talk about the Indian army, there were some traitors like Maulvi Rajab Ali and Mirza Ilahi Baksh who were honored and awarded with affluence from providing information to the British about the whereabouts of the Indian emperor. Well, people, this is it with this topic of War of Independence failure. Inshallah, we'll continue with the upcoming topics as well. Until then, please don't forget to subscribe this channel and to like the video. We will meet inshallah with the next new topic soon. Until then, Khuda Hafiz.